some staff. Our very own Brett Kelly on my far left, and from the Dallas Morning News, Dallas Cowboys beat writer Todd Archer. And guys, I know we all know this. At least I found out very quickly. The first thing you learn in this business, that you are not the story. You're there to cover the story. But suddenly, you three all became a part of the story. And I guess just to set the record straight, I was out at practice for the morning practice, went into the locker room when it was open to the media, left there about 1. I was out in the I left then, went to the Rangers clubhouse. I was in the Rangers clubhouse watching the events develop out there, as were many of the Rangers players on the TV in the clubhouse. But Brett Kelly, I'll start with you. You were shooting practice, and suddenly shooting practice became shooting something else. But how much time elapsed between the time you noticed that the bubble was under duress and then the ultimate collapse of the building?
It couldn't have been more than, 20 or 30 seconds. As soon as the lights started to sway and the walls started to billow, I mean, it was fast. And then the next thing we knew, everything was coming down.
And did it ever occur to you that it was going to be anything other than some, as we see, shaking lights? And I've been through earthquakes. We were out experienced an earthquake this summer in training camp. Did it ever occur to you that this thing could possibly come down until it actually happened?
No, it never did, because we've been in that bubble, dozens and dozens of times, most of the time when it's inclement weather. And you hear the rain and the wind and everything, and that thought never even crosses your mind.
And Todd, you were trapped underneath some of the falling debris, so just walk us through that and the experience that you had there.
Yeah, I remember we kind of pushed all towards the door, and I remember saying to myself, okay, let's not push. This isn't going to be good if we're all pushing each other. And then finally...
was the building coming down at that point?
The one corner of it it had lifted up.
Okay.
So I think what happened, all the pressure had been put on the facility on that door, and then once it popped, I was able to make a step out or step or two out, and something hit me in my back, and I was knocked on the ground, and half of my body was covered by something. I just don't even know what it was that hit me, and my legs were out free underneath.
And actually, a couple of the players, correct, pulled you out?
Yeah, I was told after D'Angelo Smith and Brandon Williams came over. First, Nick Eatman from the Cowboys website tried to lift it up. He told me later it was like a car, that he couldn't do it. These two guys were able to lift it up a little bit, and I was able to wiggle out and crawl out on my back.
And Steve Dennis, you were at the practice, went out to our truck to do some editing of video, then went through the facility, but you say you came out, when you come out of that practice, when you come out of the Cowboys main structure, the true building, I guess, before you go to the bubble, just for the uninitiated folks that haven't been out there, you take about a 80 to 100 yard walk to actually get into the bubble.
We did it in 15 seconds.
Yeah, when you come out of that building though, and what did you see when you came out of the building looking at what we're seeing here now in this video?
Well, I got the call from Brett. I was in the writer's room where Archer hangs out more than anybody. And I got the call from Brett, and we ran through the building, went out the back door on the track to the outdoor practice field, and what we saw was the whole thing was spread out. I mean, we saw that end of it first where we can't decide if it's steel or aluminum, but all the structure had fallen on the outdoor practice field, and there wasn't a whole lot of movement when we got out there for a very weird 10 seconds. It was just kind of quiet, and that's kind of when my heart sunk to my feet. I went, oh man, where is everybody? And then all of a sudden, all you guys started coming out, and then it got real frantic. Then
I don't remember hearing much. I think, we were talking earlier, all I remember is hearing wind and rain, but I didn't hear any steel popping or aluminum or anything. And then it was really quiet for that 20, 25 seconds I was under. And then all of a sudden you hear people say hello, hello, when people were trying to find other people.
And with that tarp over the top of bodies and people that were trapped, I mean, there had to be a sense of you didn't know where people were or how to get at them. Is that right?
Oh yeah, there were just pockets. The way the building was constructed, you could see that there were just little pockets of space that were all covered by the tarp. And you'd have no idea where anyone was trapped.
And that's what I witnessed, Babe, was once everybody started coming out, you saw a rush of players and coaches, including Wade Phillips and Jason Garrett. They went back in, and they were lifting up the white tarp to see if anybody was under those little areas. Like Todd was trapped, there could have been people trapped under there, and they were all lifting them up, running from one to the other, yelling to see if anybody was under there.
And that gentleman right there, he was lucky because he was in one of those video perches about 40 feet in the air and rode that little cage there.
Came all the way down.
Are you guys surprised that there wasn't a death?
Oh, there's no question.
Absolutely.
I mean, did you think somebody's dead under here?
I didn't realize it was as bad where I came out until I got home and I saw the aerial photos of everything, and I still don't know what was over me, but you look at that and you say, how in the world did you feel so badly for Rich and his family, and you just think of how much worse it could have been if the full team had been there for a regular minicamp.
And you know, I got to be honest, my very first thought when I got out there and just saw it, I wasn't in there like these guys, you know, my first thought was they're all dead. I mean, it was silent and there wasn't a whole lot of movement. I went, oh man. And I was real happy. The first one I saw was Brett backing out with his guy. You know, I was happy to see all the people starting to come out.
How about the response of the emergency medical crews and also the folks? I mean, we saw it looked like everybody just started pitching in, and players became emergency rescue folks.
Oh yeah, a bunch of the players, they started to put their helmets back on and started to go back in the building. Coach Phillips, after he came out for a little while, as you can see there, he went back into the building, or what was left of it, and started to do his best to try and help find people.
Was there ever a time when you guys thought this is just a bad dream? This isn't really happening?
I wish I did. Then my knee wouldn't hurt, my back wouldn't hurt, and my shoulder wouldn't hurt. But yeah, it was surreal the whole time. And you know, if Jerry cuts either one of those two rookies, I'm going to have it out on him.
I was going to say they're going to get good ink.
Yeah, suddenly Archer's going to go soft on a couple of rookies. Anybody could have dropped that ball. Sun was in his eyes. Well, it was at night, Todd. Well, the light was in his eyes.
And they deserve it.
Absolutely.
Boy, what a harrowing experience. And again, you hate to say it could have been much worse, because certainly for Rich Beam, who's now paralyzed, and Joe DeCamillos, who's going to undergo back surgery tomorrow, you know, certainly our thoughts are with them, and your heart goes out to them. And again, I hated watching yesterday and seeing and hearing, and well, boy, it could have been worse, because for a few people it's a pretty bad situation right now. But the caveat there is, as you all said, you expected to find, quite frankly, dead people underneath there, and that didn't happen.
And that's what David Beeler said. He said when he got out and he turned around, the kicker that they drafted, how many people have died? How many people have died? You know, amazing.
And kudos to the emergency people, by the way, because I watched them work for an hour and a half, and they were quick, and they were there fast, and they did everything very quickly.
All right, gentlemen, we appreciate it. Todd, we're going to have you stick around a little bit. Kelly, thank you. And you hate to say tremendous work when it's a situation like that, but tremendous job on your part bringing those pictures back for the folks yesterday. So we appreciate it. All right, Dallas Cowboys.